Hi there, it's Anne of Rosie Duck Designs here. Thank you ever so much for joining me today. I was recently asked by a friend of ours to make an anniversary card for her son and daughter-in-law for their upcoming wedding anniversary. I did inquire as to what she thought they might like, but she just basically said, I'll leave it up to you, which is lovely that she has that confidence, but kind of scary for me that I'm going to get it right. So, left to my own devices, I thought I'm going to do something bright and cheery, and I was really keen to have a play with my new rainbow glimmer paper. So it seemed like the perfect opportunity to use that. I love this paper. It features some brilliant colours: granny green apple, Bermuda bay, blackberry bliss, magenta madness, and mango melody. But the way the colours all merge, you actually finish up with more than those 5 colours. So it's very, very pretty, and it's got this lovely shimmer, which I'm not sure the camera's going to pick up, but it's got a lovely shimmer to the paper. So I thought it would work quite well on the card that I had in mind. And I was going to team that up with one of the new brushed metallic foils that you'll find in the August to December mini catalogue. So much like the foil card that we already have, the difference is that these are what they call brushed, and there is a line that runs through it, so it sort of gives it a slight look of texture, and that comes in bronze, copper and gold colours. So within that one pack you get that nice choice of 3 different metallics. So that's sort of the basis of the card. So that's what I started with, and then it was a case of where do I go from there. The fact that it was or is a special card, I thought I would go with a slightly larger one than I usually make, so I've gone with a 6x6, and I've made that using one of our 12x12 Whisper White cards. So basically it's the 12x12 cut in half and scored in the middle, so 12x6 scored at 6 on the long side gives you your card base, and that is 30x15 scored at 15 centimetres on the long side to give you the equivalent card base in metric. But as I say, the easiest way is cutting a 12x12 Whisper White card in half and then just folding it in across the middle. And because it's quite a thin card, it does fold quite easily, really, without a score line on it. And obviously then just make sure that you burnish that line with your bone folder. So that's the easy bit. So then I thought I would feature, as I say, one of these metallic sheets. So I went with the gold, and as I mentioned just before, there's like a line in here, so I would recommend that you make sure that the lines are going in the same direction if you're putting the card side by side, because otherwise you'll have a texture going upwards and a texture coming across. So either way, but it makes more sense that both sides of the card are going in the same direction. So I've cut 2 of these out, and these are going to go in the middle of the card, so on here and here, and they are cut at 5 3/4 by 5 3/4 or 14.5 by 14.5. I've also cut a third one of these because I want that for the front of the card, but we're going to deal with that later. This is the easy bit. So I'm going to stick this into the middle using my choice of adhesive. I'm saying that because I'm still using my snail, but whatever adhesive you are happy with is obviously the right one for you to use. So let's make sure I'm taking my own advice and keeping the lines in the same place or in the same direction. So I'm just centralising that. And then to that I'm adding a piece of Whisper White card, which she can then write her message to them on, and that is 5¼ by 5¼ the equivalent metric to that is 13.3 by 13.3. So I've done it quite slightly smaller because I just wanted that gold edge to be seen. You could even make it slightly smaller if you wanted to, but I think that will work, knowing the lady and that she'll want to write a nice longish message, and she's got beautiful handwriting, so that takes up some space. So I think that's the best plan for this one. So I'm going to just put that again. I'm centralising that as best I can without accurate measurements. Now on here I've heat embossed the congratulations with some gold embossing powder. So obviously to do that you would need Versamark and a heat tool. And I've used the sentiment from this Well Said stamp set, which I have featured on a number of my videos since this stamp set was launched. It isn't the cheapest set in the catalogue, £42, but it actually has 51 different stamps in it. So you've got these single sentiments here, and then some other sentiments that you can add to your single words. So for example, you could say thanks, thoughtful, kind, generous, that's you, for example. Sadly I've had to make an anniversary card, try this one again. Sadly I've had to make a sympathy card in the last couple of days, so I've actually used heartfelt sympathy, and then inside I've used this sentiment, know that love, prayers and caring surround you today, and so on and so forth. There's lots of different alternatives. There's a get well here, and then we've got sending healing thoughts your way. So it's a really nice stamp set. It is a bit of an investment, but once you've got it, it will basically cover the majority of occasions that you're going to need to make cards for. So I have used the congratulations out of there. Put that back together, and I'm going to just add a couple of little golden hearts to that just before we finish the card. But I'm just going to now move on to this side of the inside of the card. So again, I've got my gold brush metal card. Oh dear, there's another snail disappeared. I have just literally started to do a new order, and I've put some of the new snail equivalent on my order, because the time is going to come when I'm going to have to start using it. I'm sure it's absolutely amazing. It's just what I'm used to, but yeah, I will certainly be sharing that with you when it comes to me running out of snail and starting to use the new product. So again, I'm making sure that my lines in this are going in the same direction, and I'm just centralising that. I think I've said this a number of times, the thinner white cardstock works perfectly well for cards, but it is thinner. The thick white Whisper white cardstock, the clue is in the name, it is that much thicker. So particularly if you're using it just for a single base, so you're just using that card for the base and not really adding much to it, it's brilliant for that. But with the thinner Whisper white cardstock, the more layers you're putting on, the more structure you give to the card, so it's going to stand up very easily. So we're going to concentrate on this bit first, and I'm using a couple of these hearts that are actually on our clearance rack at the moment. These were in the spring summer catalogue, which would be like the mini catalogue, and they are currently on our clearance rack, and they are priced at just £2. Now they come in Flirty Flamingo and Real Red. By the time I've uploaded this video, there'll be another video on my YouTube channel where I will have used these, so there's a little bit more information about them. But as I say, absolute bargain to be had. And the good thing with them is that you've obviously got this colour of Flirty Flamingo and Real Red, but if you flip them over, they're white. So you can make them into any colour you want, or use them as white, which is what I'm going to do today. But if you wanted to add colour to that, you just go over that with a sponge brayer and you can change the colour to whatever you want. So I have then cut out a couple of hearts using one of the heart punches. So I've used the crinkle edged heart punch. So it comes in a pack. So you've got the plain edged heart and this crinkle edged heart, and they are £32. But again, absolutely brilliant for cards like anniversaries, weddings, engagement cards such as the one I've recently made. So do have a look at that one, because that's different ideas that you could always change that for a wedding card or again an anniversary card. So I'm turning these over. I've cut these out in, if I didn't say it, Mango Melody, and I've heat embossed the initials of the couple using my gold embossing powder, and I've used the Make a Difference stamp set. So I've used the two initials out of there, and that's £25, that stamp set, and lots of different letters, some nice font there with the letters, and then you've got plainer little letters and numbers. So that's quite a handy little set to have in your collection. What I'm going to do with this is I'm going to move that out the way. It's probably a plan. So I'm just going to add some glue. Not that one. That won't work. I'm just going to add some glue on the centre here of my little heart doily. I don't want it going right over here, because any glue that you get on here that's not covered is obviously going to show. So we just really want to make sure that we've covered the area and it's got enough glue on it for the heart to stick. So I'm just lining that up. So this bit goes in where the heart dips at this end, and then this bit marries up with the point at this end. I'm sure there's probably a technical term for what I'm talking about, but yeah, I'm sure you know what I mean. So I'll just line that up. And the same with this one. It just will give it, as well as the heart itself having this nice little crinkled edge around it, it will give it this little background of almost like a lacy, like a filigree touch to it. And I'm going to add those to the card just in here. So again, I'm going to put some glue there. I don't want it coming out anywhere near here, because then that will just show through. So we'll put that just in that corner. And we're going to put this one in this corner. I have used, and again you will see this in the engagement video that I will have uploaded before I upload this one. I've used these really lovely little cocktail glasses, and I've actually forgotten, of course I've forgotten, it has to be done, doesn't it? I have to forget something. It's from the Nothing's Better Than bundle, so it's the little cocktail glasses, and I've used coordinating dies. So I've done one using my stamping blends, and I've just coloured in the lime here, and I've made this one a lemon, just so that the two drinks look slightly different. And then I've gone over with the Wink of Stella. So I'm going to show you that later at the end of the video. So that will of course mean I'll have to pause this or stop it or whatever, but that's how I've made it, and I will share that with you again, because it's a really simple little set to use, but very, very effective. So I'm just going to stick put the green one just over here. I've got to say the stamping blends work really, really well for colouring in the little elements that you want to add colour to. The actual middle of the drink is stamped on, so that makes life very easy. I'll put that cocktail over there. And then from the same set of dies, which I've actually managed to remember to bring the dies in. It doesn't really help without the stamp set, but so there's my die for the little cocktail glass. But there's also another die in here that says "Love You More Than," and the words actually get cut out separately or punched out separately. So I've just used this punch to punch out the word love, which is going to sit in between the two glasses. And what I've done with that is I've put an adhesive sheet over the back of my card before I've cut it out, so that I can then, I've got the whole surface of that word is going to be covered in adhesive, which is going to make life easy to then stick it onto the card. It's just a matter of getting your fingernail under the adhesive sheet and then pulling it carefully back. She said. Of course it's easy. When a camera's not rolling, it's very, very easy. Now the trick is that you want to keep your fingers away from your little word as much as possible, because the more you stick your fingers on the adhesive, obviously you're taking it off, but you do have to grab hold of it to a certain degree, just very, very gently. I'm just going to position that in the middle, removing the cat hair that's on there. Never a good look unless you own cats or dogs, then you totally get it. Just making sure that's where I want it before I push it down with any force. There we go. So just to finish that off, I've got a piece of the gold brushed metal. I've got a little bit of my adhesive sheet stuck on there. So the plan is I'm going to take my dog builder punch, which, as I've said on a previous video, I love this punch, but I've probably used the heart far more than I've used the dog. But it's absolutely brilliant for that little heart shape. So I'm just punching a couple of those out. And again, you could just apply the little heart to your project using a glue dot, but I just thought, as I had my adhesive sheets out, I would just use those. So again, I'm just peeling off the back there. And then I'm just going to put a little heart in this corner. And a little heart in that corner. So that's basically the inside of my card is now finished. And that, I have to say, was probably the easy bit, because this is what I want to go on the front. And what I want and what is going to happen are probably two very, very different things. But basically I used my Timeless Tulip bundle. So that's my Timeless Tulip stamp set and the coordinating punch. The whole bundle is £30.50, and it is, I have to say, a really nice stamp set. There's some nice sentiments on it, but also the tulips are lovely. I did try to get the detail. I mean, I've used this before. I normally stamp it onto normal card, and then you punch out your tulip, and your tulip then has the detail that your stamps are showing. So I tried it with just white embossing powder, but it was too white. The end result was too white, and it really didn't show through the colours. It masked the colours too much on the glitter paper. So then I had a brainwave and thought I'll try the clear embossing to see if I could just get the elements of the detail but maintaining the colour, but that didn't work at all. That didn't show up at all. So I thought, you know what, I want to use this paper, so I'm just going to cut the tulips out from the card using my punch, which is exactly what I've done. And I think the fact that there are so many different elements of colour within that paper, it kind of doesn't matter that there isn't any detail in the actual tulips. So that's what I've used. I've stamped using this stamp. I've stamped that onto Granny Green Apple card with my Granny Green Apple ink, and then I've cut those out with my the leaf punch here. So I laid it out to just give me a bit of an idea of where it was all going to go. Just to finish that off, this is going to be the sentiment on the front. So I've got I've used my layering oval dies as you'd expect. So I've got the largest one is cut out from the glitter paper. Then I've got a smaller one of the gold. Then I've got Whisper White here, and the Happy Anniversary, which again is gold embossed, is from the Many Makes stamp set, which again I'm very pleased I got this. This is got lots of really good sentiments on it, and it's got that Happy Anniversary stamp that I was kind of missing when the Beautiful Bouquet stamp set disappeared from the catalogue this year. So I was very pleased to get that, and again some nice little sentiments at the bottom here that you can add to your card to you know, just add a little bit more of a message onto it. So that was that, and that is very reasonably priced at £21. So yeah, certainly recommend that. I'm just going to put these dies away because I don't want to lose them. And we all know what I'm capable of. So that's going to go on the bottom here. Now, unfortunately, I've got to stick. I think it's probably more sensible if I stick this onto the card. So yeah, okay. Yeah, do you know what? I'm just going to go for it. I've got a rough idea of what went where. So again, I'm going to make sure my lines on this card are going in the same direction as the card that I've put inside. Wasn't very sensible, was it? Sticking your glue right down the edge like that. There we go. So again, it's just going to fit nicely into just the centre of the card, leaving us a little bit of a white border around the outside. So basically I want the leaves to come slightly over, but I don't want them sort of sticking out here. That would look silly, but I do just want them to just slightly go over the top of the card. So we basically had, there is something like that. I think it's a case of just building this up as we go. So obviously I'm not going to be sticking it, I'm going to be adding glue right along this particular leaf because I'm going to have some of it showing above the card. There you are. Stick that there. And I have to be honest, I've got no idea how this is going to actually work, so I may have to just go and stamp out some more leaves. But it's too high up, so we're going to do one there. This is going to be one of those Tulip actually sells videos, isn't it? Sorry, the concentration is kicking in here, and I'm actually forgetting I've got a camera rolling. Professional as ever. Right, there we go. So I know I had some of these here, didn't I? So let's stick those first. You can place things, but 9 times out of 10 it's never going to quite work the second time the way you placed it the first time. So it's just a matter of being prepared to just be able to cut a few more tulips out or whatever. So I'm going to stick another one over here. You can always add, but it's not as easy to take away, is it? So that's the principle I'm working on. So I'm actually going to add these, and they're going to be on Stampin' Dimensionals. And then we'll have another yellow one down here. We might have some just the normal yellow ones. Over there. So I think I probably need another couple of leaves coming out from maybe here. Trial and error. Let's have that coming down here. So I'm trying to keep any glue that I'm getting on the leaves and what have you over on this side, so I'm not getting any glue on the back of the card. Now I can't stick those down until I've worked out what I'm going to do under here, so I've just got them placed. So I might raise all 4 of those, I think, and then that will give me room to then put these down flat. So let's do that with some Stampin' Dimensionals. This is like crafting without the aid of a safety net, because I actually have no idea what's going on. There you go. So I'll put that one there. One there, and then the 2 pink ones in the middle. Do with some background music or something, didn't we, to fill in the gaps. I pride myself that I can normally multitask, but I'm not so good when it comes to crafting and trying to work out what's going to go where. Right, so I've got 5 tulips left. So maybe I'll have a leaf coming up here. Just going to see what that looks like. So I'm going to have over there. And then one on there, which leaves me another 2 down here with some more leaves. So yeah, I think that will work. So let's stick those down. I think this is probably the video to go to sleep by, isn't it? I'm sorry it's a bit boring, but it's kind of no way of prepping this too much in advance. So I've got that one in there. Put that under there without it sticking. And without the cat hair, that's always a good plan. So we're going to stick another 2 here. Yep. The only good thing about talking to yourself is that no one else is arguing, are they? So I'm going down here. Over here, and then we're going to put a pink one on the top there. I'm just pushing that down to make sure that the Stampin' Dimensionals I'm putting on the back of the tulip is actually making contact to the base of the card there. So I was just looking at that and thinking, do I need any more leaves up there? I think that kind of fills a gap in, so I might well do that. But let's just concentrate on this bit first. So again, I think I'm going to go on. I'm going to stick these flat. These last. So of course I have waffled on for far too long, and the tablet has cut out as it normally does. I'm just actually checking it's recording now. It gave me a bit of time for reflection, and I think yes, those do work quite well in there. They fill the gap, but to get the complete leaf in there didn't really work. So whilst I've been off camera, I've just cut those down. So I'm just going to attach those. I've also retrieved the stamp set that I forgot to bring in. So it's all good. Put that one there, and again I've trimmed this one down. And I'm going to pop that just in there. So, and again, looking at this, I'd got some spare tulips cut out, so I thought actually I would just add these pink ones down here, and then I would raise up the two yellow ones. And then I've got a darker one of the Blackberry Bliss ones for the central tulip on the top there. So I need a couple more leaves. Stick that down here. So I want some of the background showing through. It's quite tight up here, but we've got some of the gold showing through there. So as I bring it down, I'm just going to have a little bit more of the gold showing. So let me stick this tulip down. You can never have too many pretty flowers, can you? And as I've cut them out, why not use them? That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So let me just add this leaf over here. There's some stamping dimensions on the back of here. Just to prove I can multitask, there you go, I've stuck them on 2 tulips in one go. About as good as it's going to get today, I have to say. So let me just put that over here. You think it's tea time, Ollie, it isn't. I think it's what's known as wishful thinking. Okay. And then we'll have one final Blackberry Bliss one in the middle there. Then I think it is seriously enough is enough. I'm not going to say less is more because it clearly isn't on this card, but there is a point where enough is enough. There we go. So there we have our tulip card, and all we've got to do now is just add the sentiment, which again I'm going to add using Stampin' Dimensionals. And I've brought this down because if I do this, use this set, I will quite often stamp the stems onto the actual card and then build the tulips up from there. But the fact that I was using this gold backing, I couldn't obviously stamp onto that with any decent effect. So I really wanted to bring the tulips down as if that was the head of the bunch, and then we've got our sentiment, and if you like, in the non-real world, the stems carry on beyond that, if that makes sense. So I'm just going to attach that with some Stampin' Dimensions. Kind of spoils the effect, doesn't it? So just in the middle there. I clear the debris away. That is our finished card. And it will stand up. So I hope that's given you some ideas. Obviously I've used a number of stamp sets to make this card, and it doesn't have to be that complicated. It just shows you how you can just use the one bundle to actually make a pretty pretty card, especially with the addition of that really pretty glimmer paper. So that's the card. Just wanted to, if you haven't seen the video about the engagement card, I just wanted to share with you how easy it is to get those cocktail glasses. What of course I haven't done is bought my stamping blends in, so we'll just pause this. I thought I'd finally cracked it and remembered everything, but of course too much to ask, isn't it? Let's be honest. So I'm taking the Nothing's Better Than a Stamp set, and you could use, if you've got your Stamparatus, you could use that with this, that would work, but it's fairly easy to just basically eyeball the stamp of putting the middle of the stamp into the glass. So I go with just my smoky slate, just to give me that sort of grey background for the glass. It's just a random piece of white card. And then the other stamp that you need for that, for the cocktail glass, is this one. So that one, which gives you your ice cubes. Just going to put that on the stamp there. That would fit, actually. They've got a C block there. That would fit quite happily on a B block. The little glass that works quite comfortably on, that's my D block, but that's it fits really nicely on that. So I'd recommend a D for that, but certainly a B would work for this. But of course I bought the wrong stamp set in, or wrong stamp block. That's the word I'm looking for. So I'm literally just trying to get this still in camera, but I'm just eyeballing this onto here. So that gives me my centre, and then just for the lemon and the little cocktail umbrella, I've used Stampin' Blends. Now I used my Granny Green Apple Light and Dark for the lime version, and I've got Daffodil Delight Light and Dark for the lemon. So the rind, here we go again, it's a diagram on the barrel. Seriously, diagram which end to pull off. There's a picture of the nib and the line, but no, it's so much easier to sit here and randomly pull ends off of Stampin' Blends. So I'm using the dark one for the peel. While I've got that open, I'm just going to add a bit of colour here to the umbrella. I think I used a different colour on the actual card, but just to give you the idea of what we're doing here. So this is the light version of Daffodil Delight, and I'm just going to colour in here the inside of the lemon. Then I'm just going to add that bit of colour to my umbrella. You can make this in all sorts of colours, because cocktails come in all sorts of different colours, don't they? So it's it's very versatile. And just to finish it off, because I have to find an excuse somewhere along the line to use Wink of Stella, but it gives you that little shimmer of what a drink would look like. It's also acting slightly as a blender pen, which is fine. Just filling in those gaps a little bit. Giving you that almost little bit of shadow in it, a bit of shimmer. Just clean that off. And what I've done on this one, I've just also gone in the plain areas just to make the actual outline of the glass shimmer a little bit when the light catches it, so it looks a little bit more like glassware than without colouring that in. Which I have to say, it's the first time I've done that. I was probably missing my Wink of Stella and trying to find an extra use for it, but that's quite nice. It just catches the light. So that's how I did the little cocktail glasses that I've used. and then you just cut it out using the coordinating die, which is this one. And although I would use a magnetic plate when I run that through my big shot, which in theory will mean it won't move, but there is always that slight danger, particularly when it's something quite small like this. So just to make sure that it doesn't move, when I put that on my plate, I would just then, it's going to move now when I move my finger. My finger's stuck to it, but what I would do is I would get this in place on my plate, and when I'm happy with where it is, I would just stick a post-it note across that, just to make sure that I'm holding it securely in place so that nothing moves when it gets run through your big shot. And then you finish up with the end result of your little cocktail glasses. So I hope you've enjoyed that video and that you can take away some idea from the video of how you can use the tulip punch in particular. It's a very, very handy punch to have, and really does make some very effective cards with very little effort. So that is it for today. Everything that you've seen me use you can buy my online shop, with the exception of my snail, which is now not available, but there is an alternative to that, so all is not lost. As usual, my normal blog link and my shop link will be on the front of the video. So that is it for now. Thank you for sticking with me to the end. If you've enjoyed the video by any shot of the imagination, a thumbs up would be greatly appreciated, and if you'd like to subscribe to my channel, I would love that as well. I've mentioned before that I've set a personal goal of I would love 100 subscribers by the end of the year, so if I could achieve that, that would be amazing, and if you'd like to help me with that, that would be great as well. So until next time, look after yourselves. I've got no idea what I'll be back with, but I will be back. But until then, do take care. Bye for now.